Hi, everyone. It's Mrs. Butler here, and today I'm going to read to you a story called Dustylocks and the Three Bears. Now, Dustylocks is a version of a classic tale, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's still the same story, but this author has decided to change it up a little bit. So today, as I read, perhaps you can try to figure out all of the differences in this version. Okay, let's start. Dustylocks and the Three Bears by Susan Lowell. Oh, there she is. Wonder what's happening with that skunk. Once upon a time, way out west, there were three grizzly bears who lived together in a neat and tidy cabin in the woods. One was a little bitty bear cub, just knee-high to a bumblebee. One was a mild-mannered, middle-sized mama, and one was a great big humpbacked, gray-haired grizzly, 9 feet tall and as cross as two sticks. They each had a dish to eat from. A little saucer for the bear cub, a tin plate for the mama bear, and a great big turkey platter for the great big grizzly bear. And they each had a seat to sit in, a 3-legged stool for the bear cub, a rocking chair for the mama bear, and a great big lumpy stump for the great big grizzly bear. And they each had a bed to sleep in, a little straw mattress for the bear cub, a feather bed for the mama bear, and a great big heap of prickly green branches for the great big grizzly bear. One day, while the three bears cooled their red-hot beans in the dishes, they went out for a walk. And just as they turned their grizzly backs, something strange came blowing out of the woods. A cloud of smoke? A swarm of mosquitoes? No, siree. It was a dirty little girl. She hadn't had a bath for a month of Sundays, so everybody called her Dustylocks. But Trouble was her middle name. That little outlaw had run away from home without even stopping to kiss her mama goodbye. First, Dustylocks peeked in the bear's window. Then she squinted through the keyhole of the cabin door. Finally, she barged straight inside. Those grizzlies were fine and upstanding, law-abiding critters, honest as the day is long, and they never ever locked their door. "Beans!" cried Dustylocks. "Yahoo! I'm so hungry I could eat a salad blanket." Now, if the bears had been there, they would have shown true Western hospitality and said, "Sit right down and dig in." But crusty little Dustylocks didn't even wait to be asked. She took a bite of the grizzly's beans. Mmm. At first, Dustylocks smacked her lips, but then she let out a ooh-wee. A wildfire flamed inside her mouth. She howled louder than 10,000 coyotes. And Dustylocks said a very bad word. You see, the great big grizzly bear liked his beans chock full of chili peppers. Too hot, said Dustylocks. And when the fire died down, Dustylocks took a bite of the mama bear's beans. But the mama bear liked hers plain, no salt, nothing. Ugh, said Dustylocks, and she spat them out. She had more manners than a pig in a peach orchard. Then she took a bite of the bear cub's beans. Just right, said Dustylocks, and she gobbled them all up. She licked the saucer clean, and then she burped. Ooh. Now Dustylocks sat on the great big grizzly stump. I'm rough and tough, she bragged, but it was even too lumpy and bumpy for her. And then she tried Mama Bear's rocking chair, but it had too many fancy cushions for her, so she plunked herself down on the bear cub's three-legged stool. Just right, she said. But that heavy little roughneck sat the poor stool right into the ground. This made her madder than a half-squashed hornet. She kicked the pieces out of her way, and she stomped upstairs. Running away is hard work, said Dustylocks, all tuckered out. First, she threw herself down on the heap of green branches that belonged to the great big grizzly bear, but the branches itched her, and they pricked, and they jabbed, and they stabbed Dustylocks something terrible. So she jumped up and down, and she stamped all over them and became twigs. Next, she flopped down on Mama Bear's feather bed. Ah, said Dustylocks, mighty fine. But then she sank deeper and deeper and deeper and, oof, cried Dustylocks, too soft. Get me out of here. And then she tested the baby bear's little straw mattress. Just right, said Dustylocks, and she covered herself up and fell fast asleep. Meanwhile, the grizzlies came home from their hike, and at first they figured their tidy cabin had been struck by a sandstorm, but when the great big grizzly took a look at his dinner, he got riled. Someone's been eating my beans, he growled in his great big gruff voice. Someone's been eating my beans, said the mama bear in her mild-mannered mid-sized voice. Someone's been eating my beans too and is eating them all up, squeaked baby bear in his little baby bitty voice. Now Dustylocks had tipped over the stump. Someone's been sitting in my chair, growled the great big bear in his great big grouchy voice. And Dustylocks had dumped the cushions on the floor. Someone's been sitting in my chair, said the mama bear in her middle-sized voice. And someone's been sitting in my chair and smashed it all to flinders, squeaked the bear cub in a little bit bigger voice than before. Well, the great big grizzly got all riled. Bean rustler, he roared. Chair buster. And then the three bears galloped upstairs looking for trouble. First thing they found was a heap of stomp sprigs. Someone's been lying in my bed, growled the big bear in his great big tremendous voice. Then they saw feathers scattered from here to breakfast. Someone's been lying in my bed, said the mama bear in her middle-sized voice. And then they saw the little straw mattress with a rumpled blanket and a dusty, dirty head upon the pillow. Someone's been lying in my bed, and here she is, squeaked the bear cub in the biggest voice he had ever had. Well, I'll be bumfuzzled, growled the great big grizzly bear, scratching his grizzly gray head in amazement. Land's sake, said the mama bear. Sure smells whiffy in here. Peow, squeaked the bear cub. Is it a skunk? Well, when Dustylocks had heard the great big grizzly voice in her sleep, she dreamed of thunder and lightning. And when she heard the mama bear's voice, she dreamed of her own mother. But when she heard the bear cub squeak, she dreamed she had a bug in her ear, and she woke up. And when she saw the three grizzly bears just staring at her, Dustylocks was so scared that she tumbled out of bed, took a flying leap into the open window, and made tracks for home. She vamoosed so fast that the dust didn't settle for a week. Well, the moment Dustylocks' mother got a hold of that dirty little desperado, she dunked her head into the bathtub, and then she scolded and scrubbed and rubbed and hugged, and she kissed Dustylocks into a whole new girl entirely. And I forgot a very important sentence. And the three grizzly bears never saw her again. Or, if they did, they never recognized her. Look at her, she's all cleaned up. I'm thinking the baby bear might have recognized her, but who knows? So I hope you enjoyed this version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Dustylocks and the Three Bears. I'm hoping you enjoyed that. And I hope you talk about this book with somebody at home and see if you can find some of the subtle differences between this version and the old classic version. Okay. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening.